Hello, and welcome to UC Berkeley. My name is Amanda Dillon, and I'll be talking to you today about the data science major and a little bit about the minor. This presentation is focused on transfer students, so those students who are coming in as juniors to UC Berkeley intending to major in data science. Let's go ahead and get started. So I work in a great group. The advising team here in data science is made up of 4 individuals. And our mission really is to support students academically, but also co-curricularly, meaning advising you about options about studying abroad, or what your career options might be, or what it would take to get into graduate school. We're really a hub to help you understand what your resources are on campus and to get you connected with those resources. Along with our team, we also have a group of peer advisors. These are later stage students, juniors and seniors, who can help you understand more about our classes and Berkeley experience from a student perspective. You'll find that these folks are a great resource while you're here on campus. A little bit about our division, which is brand new. We are the Division of Computing, Data Science, and Society, and are led by Jennifer Chase, who is our Associate Provost, and Deb Nolan, who is a professor in statistics and our Associate Dean for Undergraduate Education. Our division is comprised of several departments: data science, as well as the Department of Statistics, the Department of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, and the School of Information. We work closely with the faculty and staff from these different departments to bring together our program to meet our educational goals for our students who are hoping to become data science professionals. Let's jump into the major prerequisites. So these are the courses that students need to complete before they can declare the major. First, let's talk a little bit about Data 8, and I'll actually go into it in a little bit more detail in the next couple of slides. But Data 8 is a foundational course for us, not one that we expect our transfer students to have taken. It's pretty much offered only exclusively at Berkeley, so this is a class that you can expect to take this fall. For math, we expect 2 semesters of calculus, which at Berkeley is Math 1A or 1B. We would expect equivalence from a transferring institution, or we do take exam credit. And then linear algebra. This is usually going to be in the form of a Math 54 equivalent. Finally, for our programming requirements, we have CS 88 or 61A, which is program structures. This, similar to Data 8, is not a course that is seen often at transferring institutions, and you will likely have to take this fall. Data structures, CS 61B, is a course we're seeing offered at some transferring institutions, so some of you may have taken this before getting to campus. Now, the way that it works is to declare the major, you need to have a C- or better in all of these courses. Specifically, you have to have a 2.0 between Data 8, Math 54, and 61B. So if you've taken equivalent courses to Math 54 and 61B at a transferring institution, we would use those grades to calculate this GPA for entrance into the major. Now, let's do a little bit of a deeper dive into Data 8. So as I mentioned, this is our foundational lower division course in the major. It's going to introduce you to Python, programming in Python. It's going to introduce you to some statistical concepts. It's going to introduce you to probability and inference. You're also going to get a sense for what you're going to see more of in upper division coursework along the lines of human context and ethics. So this is really a place for you to understand what are the ethical implications of dealing with personal data and navigating that sort of complicated world of handling personal information and how it's used. You're also going to get a chance to learn a little bit about visualization and how you visualize your results. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the nitty-gritty of this course, please head to data8.org and you can learn all about sort of the experience in this course. Along with Data 8, we have something called the Data 8 Connector courses. These are courses that give you a brief glimpse into what data science looks like in specific fields. These are typically 2-unit courses, and the topics vary from semester to semester. And it's a great way to kind of have a smaller class experience and learn a little bit more about what data science looks like And you can see on the screen here in geography, or potentially in cog sci, or in business. So these are great courses to just sort of deepen your knowledge and expand your perspective about Data 8. And these, to be clear, these courses are taken either concurrently with Data 8, or you can take them after you've completed Data 8. Oh, wrong way. All right, so let's do a bit of a dive into our upper division curriculum. Okay, so we have 8 courses that are part of our upper division curriculum, and I'm going to go into them briefly here. There's one course, Data 100, which is a course that all of our students take, the Principles and Techniques of Data Science. And this is our upper division foundational course. Next, there's a probability requirement, which is one course, modeling, learning, and decision-making requirement, which is one course. And the options to meet that one course tend to be machine learning focused. There are 2 courses required in your computational and inferential depth. These are going to be classes from various areas: statistics, computer science, economics, information. There's even a physics class in there. So these are really a lot of variety of classes that will meet these requirements. Then also there's going to be a class that's specifically dedicated to the subject matter I mentioned earlier around human context and ethics. And really this is going to give you a chance to explore some of the ethical problems that have come up in the past around usage of data and the conclusions that are drawn from it. And then finally, our domain emphasis. So this is sort of similar to our connector courses, but in much more depth, a way for you to really understand what data science might look like in a specific field, and to give you some additional information, because obviously if you're processing and analyzing data, you need to know a little bit about that data as you're doing that in order to know if you're drawing the right conclusions. So the domain emphasis requirement is going to give you a little bit more information about particular data sets. So what does that look like? Well, so we offer 25 different domain emphases that students can choose from. And the domain emphasis is made up of 1 lower division course and 2 upper division courses. And as you can see here, it spans lots of different disciplines and lots of different areas of study. If you want to learn more about what different courses specifically make up any one of these domain emphases, so let's pick data arts and humanities. If you want to know what courses fit into the requirements for that domain emphasis, head on over to our website, which is data.berkeley.edu. And if you go into our major resources page, you can actually click through and see exactly what courses would meet the requirements for that particular domain emphasis. Just wanted to revisit real quick just to make sure, to be clear. So it's 8 courses, Data 100 being one probability course, 1 modeling, learning, and decision-making course, 2 computation and inferential depth courses, 1 human context and ethics course, and 2 upper division domain emphasis courses. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so let's talk about what your first semester might look like on campus. And I do want to stress that this is just a sample plan. There are various iterations of this, and it really does depend on your experience and your situation coming into your first semester here at Berkeley. Hopefully we'll get to connect. You will connect with some peer mentors, some advisors over the summer, which can give you have some personalized conversations about what makes most sense for you in your fall schedule. But let's just look at one example. So this includes Data 8, as I mentioned earlier. Most, if not all of you, are going to need to take this course, as well as CS 88 and 61A. Or 61A. So, and the differences between those courses, it's a bit nuanced, and that's definitely an area where it would be better to have a personalized conversation in terms of choosing which course is going to be the best one for you to pursue. Also, as I mentioned previously, with the domain emphasis, there are 2 upper division requirements and 1 lower division requirement for the domain emphasis. Some students may have been aware of this requirement and taken it in their transferring institution, and some may not be. Now, just so you're aware, many of those courses may actually overlap with some of the courses that you took to meet the breadth requirements in the College of Letters and Science. So this again is a place where you're going to want to talk to an advisor and understand whether you have maybe met this requirement already. But if you haven't, your first semester is a great time to take it. And then finally, our American Cultures requirement, what's also referred to as your AC requirement, 99% of transfer students have not fulfilled this requirement before transfer. So this is a class that you're going to need to take at Berkeley. And we put it in here in this first semester because often this first semester can be very overwhelming. A lot of stuff is happening. You're potentially moving away from where you've been living for the past number of years. You're adjusting to a new location. You're adjusting to new resources. So we really stress that transfer students try not to overwhelm themselves and take too many courses their first semester. So this really is sort of a good balance of coursework for your first semester on campus. So we're going to take a moment and actually move out of the minor and move out of the major and talk about the minor for a moment. So I really just want to make sure you're aware that this exists. I'm guessing that most folks on the call are not interested in the minor, but once you get to Berkeley, plans change. You might find there's another major that you're more interested in, but you still want some of the data science curriculum. You know, just want to make sure that you're aware that minoring in data science is an option. And so I'm not going to go into it in too much depth, just to say really, as you can expect, a minor will be less classes than a major. The lower division curriculum is fairly similar to the upper division curriculum, Data 8, a programming course, and a probability course. And then in the upper division, there are actually two different pathways, what's called the 1 core course pathway and then the 2 core course pathway. The 1 core course pathway is Data 100, a human context and ethics course, and 2 elective courses. And then the 2 course pathway is Stat 131A and 133, a human context and ethics course, and 1 elective. So you can find more information about this on our website as well, data.berkeley.edu, and you can learn a little bit more about the minor. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it here today. So let's jump into some of the opportunities that are available to students outside of the classroom. So let's start with the Discovery program. So this is a super cool program. It actually allows students to get experience working on a data science project with a team during your fall or spring semesters. So you can actually be getting some work experience along with your course experience or your curricular activities. So essentially you are paired with a group, and that group is assigned to a specific partner. So that could be another department on campus or another unit on campus. It could be a nonprofit. It could be a local industry partner. There are lots of different options. And if you're going to redirect you back, if you want to learn more about this particular program, you're going to go to our website at data.berkeley.edu and look under research, and you'll see Discovery program there. And you can actually see lists of past partners that students have worked for. But again, this is a great way to get some experience during your first semester or your second semester on campus. We know that a lot of students are coming in not having had an internship. And so if you're really geared up and thinking about getting an internship in summer 2021, this is a great way to get some experience on your resume. Next, we have Data Scholars. And this is a support program for our underrepresented and non-traditional students in STEM. And it really does offer both academic and social support for students as they're coming into the program and getting adjusted to the demands of the academics, of the potential career opportunities. And it really does offer support for students all along the way. And I'd encourage you to look into that if that sounds interesting for you. And then finally, a little bit of a history lesson. The data science major really was created in partnership with students, and we continue that tradition today. So really, students are a big part of everything that we do here within the data science education program. And that includes communications, analytics, external adoption. That might be, you know, if you take Data 8 and you love it and are really interested in bringing it back to the community college that you started in, this would be a great team for you. Our peer advisors that I mentioned earlier, peer advising and also consulting, curriculum development, and human context and ethics. So these are the kinds of opportunities that are outside of the classroom. They deepen your relationship with not only your peers, but also the staff and the faculty that work on the data science education program, and really kind of round out your experience at Berkeley. So I'd encourage you to check these opportunities out and get involved where you can. Okay, yikes. All right. So I have this slide in here to remind me to just tell you about some of the sort of basic nitty-gritty kind of details that it's good to be aware of when you're thinking about transferring to Berkeley. First of all, when you come to campus as a student in the College of Letters and Science, you are not declared. You are an intended major. So students on this call are likely intended data science majors. So it means that you have to complete, you may be able to declare if you've met all of the prereqs that I outlined on that previous slide. However, more than likely, there are some classes that you're going to need to take and then be able to declare in your spring semester. I also want to make sure you're aware of the 5th semester option. So most transfer students come onto campus expecting to be there for 4 semesters. When actually, if you are taking 13, 14 units a semester, kind of keeping a really reasonable workload of courses, a 5th semester will be an option for you. And I highlight this because I don't want students to feel like, you know, oh man, I'm learning that if I start this major, I'm already going to be starting out behind. We really want you to take your time here. We want you to enjoy the classes that you take and enjoy your experience here at Berkeley. And so just know that a fifth semester is open to almost every student as long as you're planning right. So you can learn more about this in any advising session that you have. Also like to make sure that students are planning ahead and thinking about what their schedule is going to look like and how they're going to reach their goals. This is actually especially important around Data 8. It is a very popular class on campus. To that end, it fills very quickly, but we actually are reserving seats for incoming transfer students so that you will be able to take this in the fall. But I also wanted to make sure that you're aware of some of the class size issues at Berkeley. A lot of the courses that you'll be taking as part of the data science major are very large. This can be a really different experience than you may have been familiar with at community college or your transferring institution. We do offer smaller option within those larger classes. So most large classes have a smaller discussion section component or lab component, which should be between 20 and 25 students. If you're looking for a smaller course experience, those connector courses that I mentioned can give you that. Also, there are other classes on campus that we don't have time to cover here, but I'd encourage you to look up decals as well as Berkeley Connect. And those are 2 courses that can give you that kind of smaller classroom experience where you can really potentially deepen relationships with peers, get to know some of the GSIs, and kind of have that more intimate experience. I also wanted to leave you with a way to get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you, answer any of your questions. And that is our email address there, ds-advising@berkeley.edu. Please do send us your questions or just reach out and say hello. We'd love to connect with you early and, you know, kind of start this off and begin talking about your schedule and your experience and your plans this summer. And with that, I'm going to wrap this presentation up and open up the floor for questions. Thank you for your time.